Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to anyone watching at the moment. Unfortunately, episode 8 is a no-show, pretty much. While episode 8 did happen, and it was streamed, and it was meant to be recorded, unfortunately, every single thing that possibly could have gone wrong went wrong with this. So recording the video apparently never worked, which is a real big shame, so I don't have that to edit. I downloaded the VOD off of Twitch, and it said that it was working, and it said it was all doing that. I just took its word for it, and it never did, which is, again, huge shame. And in trying to contact Twitch about the issue, only a matter of days after the 2-week expiration of the video, yeah, they can't do anything about it, although I do not believe them in the slightest. You know, I reckon they still probably can do something about it, they just don't want to, but hey, things happen. So instead of the regular 3-hour episode for D&D, although last episode was nearly 4 hours, there is going to be a short little recap instead, so you guys aren't missing any of the story, so you guys know what happened and where we're up to at this current point, basically. So, the party manages to escape the locked room that they were stuck in, with the portcullis, the broken door to the south, the frozen door to the west, and the door that leads to the spike trap and all that, and just not a great time over to the east. The party decides to investigate the kobold room again, where they briefly found out earlier that there were 2 hidden doors there, blocked behind a whole bunch of just poop bags and rubbish and broken tables and this, that, and the other, which the party then fails to open both doors and don't find anything else in the room. Party starts to hear loud clanging and bashing coming from the portcullis. Not sure really what it is, but it's getting pretty aggressive pretty quick, and it sounds pretty dangerous. So everyone is in the same mindset to start running. As everyone starts running, they hear a different sound. A sound of it starting to break. So everyone is in full agreement. It is time to run. Everyone starts to run, but Furia decides to go investigate, quickly see what it is, and then possibly run after that. Furia finds out the creature on the other side of the gate that is now busted through the gate is actually in fact a young white dragon, which is quite dangerous to deal with at such a low level. Furia decides, instead of running, to try and fight the dragon. What could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong, surely. Furia takes a couple of shots at Dragon. Dragon's not too happy, and of course, as you would imagine, Dragon retaliates. Piero, while running down the hallway, decides to try and climb one of the giant dwarf statues on either side. I believe he goes for the one on the east side of the corridor, and attempts to climb up in a idea of trying to jump onto the dragon's back, or dragon's tail, or its head, or something, as it walks past as it goes down the corridor. But he fails to try and do that. At this point, Furia ends up going down, because Furia decided to 1v1 a white dragon. Yeah, that happened. That definitely happened. Mercedes then uses the Staff of Frost that he has to create a fog cloud as the dragon comes around the corner to start attacking other people. Finny decides to take a shot at dragon, misses. Big shame, really. Yeah, I thought the bolt was gonna hit, but apparently it didn't. Finny is all the way at the back of the corridor at this point, about the furthest away from the dragon possible, as this fog cloud goes up to try and disorient the dragon. Piero is caught in the middle of this. Alucard and Mercedes both end up going down shortly after one another, after this fog cloud is created. Piero then, using his glowing shield that he has at the time, throws it down the corridor to try and distract the dragon. You know, a giant clanging shield, you know, bright light coming out of it. Seems like it would distract dragon. Which it ends up, you know, doing. The dragon is quite distracted and goes to investigate the weird clanging sound. Finny, near enough to Alucard at this point, runs over and digs through Yusuf's bag, which Alucard is holding at the moment, and finds the potion of healing that was in there. And instead of using it on Alucard, he decides to use it on Mercedes instead. You know, Mercedes got a fancy staff, Alucard doesn't. It's kind of a no-brainer, you know. Get the strong staff guy up first. Mercedes, while up, uses the staff one more time to create a wall of ice, blocking the dragon behind a giant wall, making sure that Piero is on our side of the wall and not the dragon side, because that would be pretty bad for Piero. After this, Piero runs down the corridor and uses his lay on hands to try and get Alucard up, which succeeds, and he gets Alucard back up. At this point, though, sadly, Vosmik finds out, after carrying Feria for a while, trying to carry Feria towards the exit, finds out that she is in fact dead. Feria had rolled a natural 1 and a very low roll on the second one on their death saves, and ended up getting 3 death saves relatively quickly, which resulted in Feria going down for good. Vosmik, at finding out this information, decides to just leave Feria on the ground. It's a dead corpse, can't do anything with it, might as well just leave it there, and begins to walk off. Finny, quite enraged by this, decides to have this quite lengthy argument while this dragon is on the other side of this wall, now quite annoyed that there is a magical wall of ice that has appeared out of nowhere. And this argument eventually ends up convincing Vosmik to bring the body with them, although he wasn't too pleased about it. Everyone decides at this point it's time to leave, it's time to run for the rope that Mercedes and Feria originally entered this place into. Piero, along the way, at the very back of the charge, decides to slam 2 of the doors on the way to the rope, blocking off the dragon even further, slowing it down even more, which it is very much not happy about. It doesn't like that its dinner has now been stolen from it. Eventually, they make it to the rope, the entire party, and in an attempt to try and get Feria out of the giant hole as well, they tie Feria's now lifeless corpse to the back of Vosmik, using like a whole bunch of rope and all that, basically making a Feria backpack. Vosmik ends up climbing out of the hole, so does the rest of the party, although some are quite slow at doing so. Everyone ends up getting out of the hole more or less alive, until you count in Feria, which is very dead at this point. The party runs down a mountain, and eventually reaches the tavern where Perry is found along the way. They tell him that everything will be explained at the tavern, and that they need to get there quickly, and they need to devise a plan right now, because the situation could escalate at any moment. They eventually reach the tavern, and they eventually tell both the innkeeper and Perry, who are now both with them as well, about the situation and what happened. The fact that there was a young white dragon down inside the mountain that was most likely the cause of the eternal winter that they had been having far longer than should have happened, and Perry doesn't take the news very well. Perry freaks out and runs out of the tavern yelling, "Dragon! Dragon!" at basically top of his lungs. Runs through the town just screaming out dragon. Now, of course, all the townspeople are a bit alerted by this, but a bit confused at the same time, so a lot of them start looking down towards the tavern, where someone from the party, I can't remember who at this point, confirms that yes, there was a dragon in the mountain, and that just starts causing chaos. Everyone starts freaking out. The party tries and fails to calm down both Perry and everyone freaking out in town, decides it's just best to leave the situation as is, and ditch. You know, they've done what they could. They tried to save the town. Can't really do much against Dragon, especially now that it comes bursting out of the mountain and starts flying overhead over the town. At this point, the party believes that this is the opportune time to leave the town and get on the road back to Neverwinter, which they hastily do so. Along the way, Vosmik tries to commune with his god, which ends up failing, unfortunately, and he then, in some effort to try and brighten the mood, decides to use Furia's head in a ventriloquist kind of way, and ends up breaking her jaw, which is not seen very funny by the rest of the party. At this point, the episode ends, and everything will continue on to episode 9, where the party reach Neverwinter. They go back to the Adventurers Guild, and certain things unravel as chaos ensues even further. Again, I do apologize for the fact that this episode was lost. It was definitely the most climactic one of, you know, the entire series so far, and it's quite a disappointment that it's just gone and nothing can be done about it, because honestly, I was quite looking forward to editing this one, adding some cool music, you know, for the dragon fight, adding some cool, like, other things. A lot of big things happened during the episode. But, you know, what can you do? I tried everything, tried to get the episode back, didn't end up working, and here we are, with a, like, 13-odd minute recap instead of a 3-hour stream. But from now on, everything hopefully should be double and triple checked. Everything should be working fine from now on, and we hopefully won't run into this issue, like, ever again. I hope. Anyways, check out episode 9 when that comes out, and everyone, hope you have a good day.